This is the City of Avondale Estates, Georgia Board of Mayor Commissioners regular meeting. It's December 20th, 2023. It's 5:30. I would like to call the meeting to order. We have an agenda before us. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
That was Lionel. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was D. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I would like to start out this evening. First of all, Commissioner Shortell is not with us this evening. She is on vacation. I do have a bit of news. Former Commissioner Adele Yelton, who many of you remember, lost her husband this week. He passed away Saturday afternoon. He had been battling, cholangiocarcinoma for about 20 months and died peacefully at home, but they're friends of ours. That was pretty rough. His service will be this Friday at 11 a.m. That's the 22nd of December at the Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic Church at 2855 Briarcliff Road in Atlanta. The family has asked that in lieu of flowers, you please consider a donation to the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation. Along those lines, 9 years ago in March, I got elected. On a special election 9 months later, this guy got elected, and Adela. And Adela served for 4 years and did a great job. And Brian has been with us for 8 years and has done a great job. And Commissioner Miriam was elected 4 years ago and likewise has done a great job. And tonight is their last Board of Mayor Commissioners meeting. And something I think that is really important on any board is that you have people with a variety of perspectives so that we are all looking at this from different angles to make sure that collectively we're making the right decision. Brian is a banker and has always sort of kept an eye on the numbers and our budget and so forth and everything really. And I think his insight on many things has been invaluable. His leadership, we've had to make some tough decisions in 8 years. And Brian was always there to offer an opinion that he would back up with about 5 reasons. And I value that and I respect that. And he's been our mayor pro tem for 6 years.
Yeah.
Six, yes. And so every once in a while, when I'm later, not here, I would run meetings, but thank you, Brian.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And D is a landscape architect and city planner. She went to both schools in Georgia. I like to say.
Okay, so
There's a lot of schools in Georgia. I'm joking. She went to Georgia and then she went to Georgia Tech.
two important schools in Georgia.
Well, anyway, I just say that because of the rivalry, really. But D has offered, wonderful insight on everything from zoning to, our green space to, everything. And before that, I remember D was at every meeting. I think I seem to remember you being at every meeting.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and I hope you both are here at meetings afterwards because you have an insight on things that others don't. And I think you get it, if I may say that. But I appreciate your service. Personally, I do. On behalf of the city, thank you for your service. And I wish you both the best with all your free time you're going to have now. But that's all I have. Brian?
Thank you. No, I don't have much more to say other than what I've said the last couple of weeks. I'm incredibly proud. My heart goes out for Adela. I know it's been a rough 6 or 7 months. I didn't know her until I served with her. And she's just a fantastic person. Her younger boys are the same age as my middle daughter. My heart goes out to them. I know they've taken advantage of every moment they've had with Rich over the last 6 or 7 months, and that's great. So really just heartfelt out to them. And just thank you to everybody. I think we've accomplished a lot. It's been a total team effort, not just city staff, past and present and this board and previous boards, but also our residents. I think one of the things that we're luckiest to have is a really engaged group of residents that Avondale is important to them. And that importance means that they come to meetings. They give us their perspective. When they're angry at us, they let us know. When they're happy with us, they let us know. But I think the biggest risk that a city like ours could have is if empathy sets in. If we get to the point where nobody cares, then I think it becomes a very dangerous place for a city. And I don't have that fear for Avondale, mainly because of that connection between resident, city, and Board of Mayor Commissioners. So looking forward to the next group to come in and continue the work and to be a resident. Just showing up when I'm angry, because that's the best time to show up. And I hope everyone has a great holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, so thank you. It has been a pleasure to be here. I think we have accomplished a lot and I'm really proud of, but I think it's been a group effort and has had a lot of leadership from every single person here. So I am happy to be here. I'm happy to be saying goodbye. And I don't plan on being at every meeting up in the next year. You will hear from me. So thank you. And it's just a pleasure. Avondale's a really special place. And I think we've had a lot of very involved citizens, and I hope we continue with having the forums and the opportunities for our citizens to take part in our government. So I really appreciate the work that's been done today. I really want to call out the e-news. I think that it's gotten markedly more informative, and just want to do a shout out there. And not that all staff, I do think we have some very, very good staff. And so I don't want to take away from anybody, but the getting the information out in a timely manner is something very near and dear to my heart. So I think that's the foundation of people being involved. So thank you.
Thank you. Bottom.
Yeah, so guys, I'm sorry to see you go. I think, looking back on the time that I spent with you guys, I think what's, had an impact on me is the diversity of thought. Brian's thinking on, especially on numbers, but other ideas about the city and how things should go, as well as Dee, and not just your landscape architecture expertise, but also just, in general. And I really appreciate the time that I've worked with you both. I think it's, helped me to grow as a person, but also as a commissioner. So I really appreciate that. And good luck in whatever else you want to undertake. I'm sure it'll be successful. I do want to say that, I was very sorry to hear about, Rich's passing. We weren't close, but I did spend some time with the former commissioner and her husband, and it's really difficult, especially around this time of year, and their families are in my thoughts. But that's about all I have to say. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Mr. Manager?
I am going to save my monologue, my Brian and Dee focused monologue, until the first January meeting. I let each of y'all know at the last meeting that we are preparing a special recognition send-off celebration-a-thon for you two. I'll elaborate more at the next meeting, but I think for me, it's been an incredible blessing to work with the two of you. I think we're in the place that we are in because we have had great people who are committed to serving this community. And I have enjoyed immensely being able to serve along with you. And I think our work should not be taken for granted, because it was tough and there was a lot of leadership shown. I hope you two feel very positive about your time here, because it has been well worth it from my perspective. So I hope y'all feel very proud of the things that we've accomplished over the last 8 years in your case and 4 years in your case, Dee. And, I hope to continue to receive input and mentorship from both of you. And of course, you have my cell phone, so you'll always be able to reach me. But I also wanted to include Lisa in that because she served with y'all. So hopefully we can continue to move forward with that celebration at the next meeting, if that's still okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. One other item of note. Y'all may have noticed that yesterday evening, we had a Maddie's call for a missing person in the area. And I'm happy to report that that person has been found safe and has returned back to their home.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, all good? All right, moving right along. Excuse me. Item number 4. We have before us the minutes of the October 11th, 2023 regular meeting, October 11th, 2023 work session, November 29th, 2023 regular meeting, November 29th, 2023 work session. Do I have a motion to engross the minutes?
So moved.
That was Brian. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Lionel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And a quick comment, we've just got a backlog of minutes to put forward for approval. So that's why we have some date disjoint there. Those gaps will be filled in
Oh, okay.
subsequent meeting.
All right.
Mhm.
No, that was my question was the disparity there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give her a chance. She's gonna tell you. She's doing a great job.
No, it's my bad. No, we're good.
No, it's just a transition thing. It's just, that was, yeah. So. All good?
All good.
Okay. First item of business, item number 5. And we're voting on this. Okay, we have before us an ordinance by the city of Avondale Estates to amend chapter 14, article 2 of the city code regarding occupation tax classification and taxation to classify occupations and levy occupation tax based on the North American Industry Classification System and to repeal conflicting provisions. This is the second reading. We are voting on this. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
That was Lionel. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's D. Mr. Manager?
As we've talked about before, this amendment will change the classification system for area businesses when paying their occupational tax and receiving their business license from the SIC classification system to the NAICS classification system, reducing the amount of time necessary for both the applicant to fill out their annual tax application and for the city staff to process that application. We feel like as we transition this process from paper to online, this will be a major efficiency improvement for the city.
Questions, comments up here? None? Any questions, comments out there? Or online? All right, seeing none, I'd like to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 4. All right, item number 6. We have before us a resolution adopting the 2024 City of Avondale Estates Board of Mayor and Commissioners meeting schedule. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
That's Lionel. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's D. Anything to add, Ms. Manager?
No, we have updated the schedule to reflect the discussion at our last meeting and want to reiterate that at any time during the next calendar year, the board can amend that schedule to fit whatever conflicts it may have.
All right, all good. Any questions, comments there? Oh, well, I mean, up here, sorry. Any questions, comments out there? Or online? All right, seeing none, I'd like to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. It's 4. Okay, next item, item number 7. We have before us a resolution adopting the City of Avondale Estates 2024 holiday calendar. Do I have a motion to adopt? So moved. That was Brian. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Lionel.
No changes since the work session.
Comments? Here? Questions, comments out there? Okay, like to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's 4. Next item is item number 8. We have before us a resolution appointing city solicitor for 2024 for the city of Avondale Estates. Person is
Josie Stevens.
Josie Stevens. I knew that. Sorry. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Was Lionel, do I have a second?
Second.
Brian? Mr. Manager?
No contractual changes this year, same contract as last year and the year prior. Same compensation, which is $800 monthly.
Josie's been doing this for Avondale for a while. So a very good job. So any questions, comments up here? Any questions, comments out there? Any online?
He needs to raise his hand. We don't accept written comment.
Miles, if you had a question, could you raise your hand online?
I don't think he's on the meeting.
Okay, anybody else? Seeing none, I'd like to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's 4. All right, item number 9, we have before us a resolution appointing municipal court judge for 2024 for the city of Avondale Estates, that person being Stephen Nicholas. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
That was Lionel. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was D. Mr. Manager.
Same as the contract for Ms. Stevens. No language has been changed and the compensation will remain $1,250 a month.
Okay. Any questions, comments up here? Any out there or online? All right, seeing none, I'd like to bring it back for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's 4. All right, last item of consideration this evening. Do you have a resolution in that one?
No, no vote.
There is no vote.
No vote. We're just going to give you something to chew on for the following meeting when Lisa returns and
We'll
then.
go ahead and just bring it in.
Yes. As we've discussed on several occasions in previous meetings, we have been attempting to reorient power equipment to the commercial development at the town green known as the Dale, so as to be less aesthetically invasive for the public. Based on previous comments made by the board, Assistant City Manager Powell, along with Sherry Locke, who is the architect on the project, have been working together with Georgia Power to try and come up with several options moving forward. So I'm going to hand the floor, if y'all don't mind, over to Shannon and let her explain where we are. And again, no vote will be taken. This is just information to chew on and provide direction back to us in the next several weeks so that Georgia Power can then finalize an easement document that would then be brought back to the board for approval.
Can you pull up, Karina, can you pull up my first image? Oh, there you go. Happy last meeting of the year. Didn't think I was going to be here, but things changed. I want to point you have a black and white copy of this, which probably makes it difficult to understand. But the color versions are in front of you. I'm going to walk through a number of different options and explain to you kind of what we learned in the process. Because we don't have direction, we don't have the Georgia Power easement in front of us. So I want to just hit on the different options that we considered. I also want to thank Sherry for being here. She and I have been working together to try to come up with different options and choices and cost these out so that you know what options we're working with. The first thing that I want to note, and this is true on every single one of the options, the orange line that you see is is an existing line that runs across this site. And there is a pole where the new building will go. That in every option we look at will go away. So the pole closest to the building and that line will no longer be overhead. Additionally, another important comment that's true on all of the options are that we have to pull the power to a new pole and run it down that pole and over to a transformer, regardless of where that location is. And the last meeting, we had that pole on the other side of the driveway. We've been able to move it to the north side so that it won't cross over the driveway. And that's consistent with every single option that we consider. There is I'm going to come back to that comment. So the option that you are currently looking at is an orientation that was originally considered, and you're going to see a rendering, or not a rendering, but a elevation that shows you what this looks like with the building. That this is what was originally proposed in terms of the location of the transformer. There is no cost associated with this particular configuration. That's all absorbed in the budget for the project. If you move on to option B or 1B, within that option, you'll see if you, you were able to move, you were able to do that. I thought I was going to be asking too much. So this is what you would be looking at for the yeah, that's throwing me. Okay, so right.
What do you need?
Elevation.
The next one.
Wait, don't say the. Do you need transformer option 1A elevation or transformer option 1B elevation?
1A elevation. Okay, so this is what you would be looking at with the 1A elevation, and you can see that the wider side of the transformer faces the building. If you're standing in the park, the narrower side, you would be looking at the narrower side. I'm going to show you a different orientation where it would flip it. So that's one option. And then if we'll go to option 1B, elevation.
You do have an
This is what it looks like looking at the building. Oh, you just,
So if you're kind of standing in the driveway, this is what you're looking at here.
and then if you were standing in, so if you were standing on the other side, it would be the wide side.
You're looking east towards whatever.
Downtown.
Yeah.
So when I look at the plan for 1A, it looks like it has the wide side facing Skips.
Right.
But the elevation looks like it has the narrow side. It looks like,
So that should say 1B.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
We got two 1. Yeah, ended up with 2 1.
So this is,
1B.
the elevation is 1B, not 1A.
Exactly, correct.
Really, the only difference between 1A and 1B is the turn of the.
Yes.
The orientation.
Gotcha.
I think it's better than what we saw the first time for sure.
Well,
It's
she's
nice.
got other options.
I think that's it, right?
No,
No,
Really?
I do.
Man, Christmas morning.
So do the free options first.
Yeah. No cost.
Let's go pause. Okay. Going back to, the plan drawings, I don't have elevation, we're not gonna have, okay, keep going. Okay, so this is, what we're calling option 2. This puts the transformer, on the edge of the bank. So if you were standing on the stage, you would be able to see, the wide side, you'd be looking at the wide side. This gives us the access points that we would need. But that's the location. You see the pole is in the same place. They would bury underneath to get to the transformer, and the red line, so the orange dotted line is the same one that goes away, and the red line is the additional electrical line that we would need in order to service the building, and that's at a cost of $30,000.
And that electrical line is underground,
That electrical line is underground.
and there would be a planted slope below the
The slope,
transformer.
you're right, so it's below, so you would see it, and if you're walking on that path, you're gonna see it right, it's gonna be in front of you, it's not buried in the slope, it's above ground.
And we did get confirmation that it'll be 6 feet tall.
It will be 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
All, in
every scenario.
every transformer is gonna be 60.
Every scenario.
But here, below the transformer to the path that goes around the stage area could be planted with taller plants that would screen that pretty well.
Well, from the stage side, but then you're blocking your view of the stage from the pavilion side.
Well, it would be below.
The transformer is not, it's at the same grade level as the plaza.
It can't be sunken a foot or two, couple of feet.
They were really clear about that. That was an absolute no-go.
Can we paint it to look like Smokey the Bear? Or something like that. We can make him bald when they're showing with hair. I mean, it's really up to the artist, but.
Yeah, I think those are options to consider. And I think what Sherry and I pretty much agree on is let's get it in there and see what we're looking at. And then we can, sometimes when you paint something, it can be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you're calling attention to it. And this has, I think we want to see it first before we decide exactly what to do. Sherry and I've gone kind of round in circles of what we can plant around it and what direction. Georgia Power is very specific that they're on 2 sides of this, and they're very specific on which sides those have to remain open and accessible.
Which sides are those?
I don't,
It's the front, which is the broad side.
Facing the building,
In
facing,
this plan, facing the building.
facing,
Pavilion.
Market Pavilion.
And then, to be honest, I don't know if it's the right or left, because it's where they pull the cable from, and they have not given us that level of detail.
The cable into the service to the building.
Yeah, so I guess it would probably be on the right. Plan, right?
Of course.
Is there any possibility of producing some type of signage or something like that that could obscure it in some way?
you can paint it. We might be able to put something, you can, as long as you continue to open it and access it, you could wrap it.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe.
You're gonna have to keep access to it.
Yeah. But I was thinking maybe some type of electronic signage that could advertise events that are going on or something. Or is that?
Well,
Can we look at the other? Yeah. All 4.
keep going. Okay, we'll come back and talk about it. That's gonna be relevant no matter what we're talking about. So the next one,
Yeah.
so, this is, again, it's just expensive. So this one puts the transformer next to the kind of the trash and recycling for the building that's there on the corner. And the challenge, of course, is we have to upgrade to put it there, we have to upgrade the service because of the distance. So otherwise we get flickers and other problems in the building. So it's a combination, that 115,000 is a combination between the additional electrical line, the red line, and the additional voltage that's needed in order to go that distance. But the other aspects are the same.
So. Yeah. I mean, I like that one. I don't like the 115. It's my 2 cents. I like 1B. Because I think, it is broadside to the street, but I don't think you're going to be seeing it that way. I think with the pavilion, the building, the stage, those are the things your eye is going to be focused on. When the trees leap out, it'll kind of help hide it, but I don't think you're going to notice it there. The other thing is in line with that alley, if you see the elevation, all the service, all the meters and panels and stuff, the service kind of into the building.
1B,
Yeah, well, that's good, but
not that one. Yeah.
but see, all the sort of the business end of the building is right there. All those little white boxes in the wall are electrical panels and meters and stuff, which they need access to. And so if you turn it that way, it gives them easier access. I think that once you're meandering around the plaza, having that skinny side towards you will be less noticeable. It kind of creates, a better access through there. But, it's basically turn it 90 degrees. It's free. I think it's the least noticeable, creates the best access through there. That's just me doing my architect thing. But, to me, that's the best solution. That's just my 2 cents.
If we were to make a staff recommendation, the three of us had consensus on 1B.
Yeah, and again, I think the other thing to me is I just assumed there wasn't a pole out there, and there is a pole. I saw it when I went out there. And so I think at the end of the day, is it something that's going to carry your eye? No, not the way that the one at Trammell Crow does, which really, I mentioned that it bothers me every time I go by that. I think it bothers everybody, but but at the end of the day, I do think the fact that you've got access panels and electrical on the side of that building, if we can get it as close to that building as humanly possible, so that it doesn't stick out any further, we lose a pole and a line going across there, which is still positive. I don't know that the $115,000 option is worth the money, because you're just going to have a 6-foot transformer sitting out on the side over there too. So I would tend to agree with 1B.
We did ask whether we could bury the transformer. The answer was absolutely not. That was a definite no. We did look at an option that would have it further down in the hillside, and that was not working for connections back up into the building. I think those are the different options we looked at.
After their $7 billion mistake at Plant Vogel that we get to pay for, they'd be a little nicer to work with.
Okay. So, well, thank you for exploring all these options. I really appreciate it. And I do think that the elevation is helpful. I would like to see an elevation with the other 2 and 3, but I do have some concerns about this location and option 1. I feel like there is limited space between the 2 big planter areas, and that is, I think Jonathan's point about that being the backside of the building is well taken. But at the same time, I think that circulation pattern is really important there. And while it doesn't totally disrupt it visually, that kind of flow, it is a disruption, and it is bigger than just the transformer. As I'm reading this, there's a pad. Is the pad what, 4 inches? 4 inches tall? But, I mean, so I'm torn between 1B and number 2. I do think there are ways to, I like that it gets it out of that plaza area. You know, I feel like when people are out there and using that space, it gets crowded really quickly. And particularly when I've been out there with the farmers market, they're using every bit of that space. And I think that transformer is going to impact that in 1D. But I do feel like it can be screened in ways, or it doesn't disrupt the flow as much in option 2. So, but it's $30,000. But I think $30,000, we spent a lot of money because we wanted the aesthetics of this market pavilion to really sing. So I would be torn between 1B and 2. But I do think 2 works with the flow a whole lot better, and that the aesthetics, it's not there, it's not that big. I think it's easily kind of screened or made to be less prominent. That's my opinion.
I think 1B is the best option. I mean, I'm not seeing any other option that really excites me.
Well, I think the other thing about the option 2 is if you're standing in the plaza, you're looking towards the stage, and it would be like right there in front of you. And between that planter box and the transformer, a lot of people are coming up the steps and along the top side of that sloped, that berm or whatever. I just think it's right there in front of you. And I think if it's over there 1B, it's kind of, I don't know, it just seems to be more obscure for some reason. I mean, point taken about the plaza and, tents and stuff and people, but there's a lot of people flowing. If they come up the steps and take a right, kind of between that planter box and, like I said, that sloped wall, then it just kind of like this big monolith is kind of standing there. I don't know. I just felt like, that 1B, it's just kind of, I don't know, it just seemed to be like it's just going to kind of disappear for some reason. It's just the least bad solution other than underground. And did they even say why? Just
Access.
Just no.
He just wrote back, we don't do underground vaults.
Well, I know that's not true, but
Literally. Shut it down here.
you build a 100-story building in Midtown, you get an underground vault. You probably need one, but anyway, okay. Okay. Well, it's not an option, so it's not worth talking about, but that's kind of funny. Anyway, well, are you just looking to see?
Well, so I'm looking to see if, I need an easement. I need to ask Georgia Power to reissue an easement because we're changing the orientation and kind of what we're doing. So I don't have an easement to bring to you. I need a decision, or I need some direction from you on what to ask Georgia Power for. And it sounds as if generally maybe even though you're having to swallow hard, you're going to tell me 1B. Okay.
Sure.
And with that, I'm going to give you one more piece of information that doesn't affect the location of the transformer. And we're going with 1B. So if you pull up the rendering again, as part of my overall, or not one of the plan views, as part of our overall exploration, we were also trying to figure out whether or not we could, the reason that we have to put in the second pole, we can't use the existing pole, is because there's service to skips on that pole. And we can't, and so there's too much there, so they can't double up on it. That's why we have a second pole. So I do have the option to talk to Skips and talk to Georgia Power about redoing Skip service so that it comes off of Franklin Street rather than off of Oak Street, which would probably eliminate the need for the additional pole. It will come at a cost
To
us. And so the question is, I gotta get Georgia Power up there, I gotta get Skips up there. I don't have a magnitude of what that's gonna cost us. I know we did it for Finders Keepers. We did it for those spaces, and the DDA kind of picked that up to allow us to pull off some of the poles off of Lake Street. But I'm putting it out there. Do you want me to continue? It won't impact the location of the transformer no matter what.
It's really, it's not part of this easement discussion, so.
But it depends us from adding a pole, actually.
Easement would be different if we did that, because I would be trying to pull it off the existing pole rather than off of the new pole. Is it? How valuable is it? Because it will come at a cost, at least 100,000. I would be shocked if it wasn't at least 100,000.
Too much. Or 20 or 30,000.
I'll see if I can
Just-
get more of a magnitude. But I think I'm just trying to get a feel for, is it worth it? It's 20 or 30, yes. If it's 100, no.
If you could eliminate having added separate next another pole, it'd be great. But I think, again, there's a barrier, and 100,000 is too much, although that won't be my decision, but that's how you get that. But I think it's good to know, just like this, I mean, 115,000 for that option C, that's a big decision point to be able to say, is it worth it or not worth it?
Yeah. In this case, I've got to get Skips involved in order to even see if, they have to be
Sure.
willing to
Yeah.
participate. Because we may have to change their lane of service for the building. So that's kind of, that's going to take a little more time. But wanted to see kind of where your heads were. Lionel, do you have another thought on this?
I'm pretty much. Well, 100,000 doesn't sound palatable to me. 25,000.
I'll see if I can get her to give me order of magnitude before we get out there.
We're talking the difference of one pole, right?
We are talking the difference of one pole.
We're also talking about wires and things that are crossing the street there. So it cleans up
It does clean
that
things up.
area up significantly. So again, I agree with you on the orders of magnitude, but I do think aesthetically, it will look a lot cleaner if that could be pulled off.
Okay,
Okay.
I think we got what we needed.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sherry.
Yes, thank you, Sherry.
So would you prefer to ward, or are you just gonna run for office one day? Because I prefer the second. Actually.
It's up to be outdoors.
Come on now, I did it. Did it?
I mean, they get a certain mix, they don't even live to around, so.
So this is true. That's terrible. Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. All right, that was our last item of business. Item number 11, public comment. Which would be John.
Well,
Sorry.
thank Brian and Dee for the great stuff that they do with the citizens. Thank you for the last stuff.
At the podium up here, let me thank John, because I think he's here at every election,
Everyone.
making everything work. So
No.
thank you.
Well, we got Josh over there. He's hiding over there. Another person that needs to run one day. And Graham, elect who's been at the last, I don't know how many meetings, but thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And so any comments online? Okay, all right, seeing none. Oh, yeah, Sherry.
Well, I just want to, the same thing. Thank you both so much for your time. I only see, I'm on the edge of what all you do, and I know y'all have spent so many hours over the last 4 and 8 years for the city, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So, do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. That was Brian. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Nick.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for.